Welcome to the Daily Coach's Sports Leadership Lessons, a reading of some of our greatest hits from more than 6 years of email newsletters that have been read by tens of thousands of leaders and learners. If you want our latest newsletter delivered to your inbox every day, you can subscribe for free at thedaily.coach/subscribe or follow the link in the description. Anchored in the Standard. Joe Mazzulla on silencing the noise. Boston Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla has a unique way of cutting through the noise. At just 37, he'd already cemented his place as one of the youngest championship-winning coaches in league history. As the storied franchise Celtics entered the 2025-26 season with lowered outside expectations, Mazzulla once again offered a blueprint and perspective not only for teams, but for anyone entrusted with leading in high-stakes environments. The storylines surrounding Boston were loud. Superstar Jason Tatum ruptured his Achilles tendon in the 24-25 playoffs and was out to start the season, and likely the foreseeable future. Several key contributors to the 24 championship run had departed. Analysts, pundits, and fans were quick to write off the franchise. But Mazzulla, he refused to give those narratives oxygen and mental resonance. If I ever get to the point where I start basing my motivations on the expectations of others, and people I've never met before, I'll retire and quit, he said at Media Day. Instead, his focus is singular, the standard. You wake up every day and you have a standard and expectation for your family, for your household, and then when you come in, for the building, he explained. And regardless of who's on the team, that will never change. It doesn't guarantee you anything. You've got to be able to push yourself. You've got to be able to hold yourself to a standard. And that's not only at home, that's when you come to work every day. For leaders, executives, coaches, and high performers, this message is clear. Release the temptation to outsource motivation to the opinion of others. External voices will always try to define your trajectory. Markets fluctuate. Critics criticize. The competition gets better and evolves. But if your standard shifts with the noise, you lose the very foundation of sustainable excellence, getting pulled in every direction, trying to focus on everything, and ending up focusing on nothing. That's really the focus, Mazzulla said, not allowing others to put expectations on you. But if you don't have high expectations for yourself, you're not going to get to where you want to get to. Every season picks up a life of its own. Every journey is different. Every team is different. And I think you have to look into that as you head into any season. The questions for us as leaders cut through the noise and serve as a mirror. How often do we show up in relationships, in teams, in organizations, dictated by some external expectation instead of our own standard? How often do we let the outcome, the scoreboard, quarterly numbers, the occasion, override the process and preparation that actually puts us in a position to maximize the opportunity and produce results? We live in an era of constant chatter. The noise is deafening. If we don't anchor ourselves to something deeper, faith, purpose, our why, our standards, we risk getting tossed and distracted by every outside opinion. Mazzulla's words remind us that the standard is the standard. It is what carries us through the highs of victory and the turbulence of storms. It grounds us in what matters and what we can actually control. Because the truth is this, it will never matter what the outside world believes. What matters is whether you believe, whether your team, your family, your organization believes. For anyone leading a team, the challenge is the same, and Mazzulla's message is timeless. Define your own standard, live by it daily, and let it guide you and those you've been entrusted to lead, no matter the noise. Thanks for joining this episode of The Daily Coach. On behalf of Michael Lombardi, Coach George Raveling, and the entire Daily Coach team, we're grateful for your support. Remember, the most important person you will ever lead is yourself. Keep growing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep showing up.